everyone, my name is Madison and I am a program educator at Cornell Cooperative Extension of St. Lawrence County. This month we are going to be focusing on caring for houseplants. There are many benefits to keeping plants in your home. One of the benefits is that it reduces stress levels and increases levels of positivity. Keeping houseplants in your home also provides more oxygen and removes toxins from the air. As you probably know, oxygen is very important for our bodies. Studies have also found that plants really help us to concentrate and focus more on our work. So plants help us to get more work done and be productive. Besides all of those amazing benefits, they're also really beautiful and really fun to look at and care for. You will be learning about 3 different ways that you can start houseplants, and also how to use a journal that can help you to keep track of how well you're taking care of your plant. We'll also be briefly talking about what fertilizer and soil does for plants, and the kind of fertilizer or soil that you may want to use to start your plant. So let's get started. Now I'd like to take a moment to talk about what soil does for the plant. The first thing the soil does for a plant is anchorage. Root systems extend outward and downward into the soil. This stabilizes the plants. Soil also provides oxygen to the plant. There are pockets of oxygen in between soil particles. The spaces between soil particles also carry water. Soil also acts as an insulator. It protects the plants from drastic fluctuations in temperature, especially during very hot or very cold temperatures. Finally, soil supplies nutrients. Soil can also hold the nutrients that we add through fertilizer. For example, jobs. Jobs are sticks of fertilizer that when added to the soil can help your plant to grow. Miracle-Gro is one brand of soil that you can buy. What I wanted to show you with this picture is that there are different kinds of soil. For example, there are garden soils, moisture control potting mix, raised bed soil, seed starting potting mix. So if you are starting from a seed, this is the kind of soil you would want. There's also cactus, palm, and succulent soil. There are also indoor potting mixes. So in this case, since we are raising indoor plants, if you're not starting from a seed, you would want indoor potting mix. One of the ways that you can start a plant is to start it from seed. There are a few things that you should keep in mind when starting your plant from seed. You should always check your seed packet for specific directions before trying to plant your seed. You should spread the soil firmly into your container. You should also make sure the seeds have a good contact with the soil. You should put the container in a protected, warm place. You should also make sure that there's consistent moisture. Sometimes it's helpful to put plastic wrap over the container so that the moisture stays inside. And you should label your seed and definitely be patient. And then finally, once you notice a few little leaves pop up, you should feed your plant with fertilizer. A job is a really great option for this. Another way to start a new plant is to use an existing plant that you already have in your home. There are a few tips for this as well. The best way to do this is to take a piece of an existing plant, cut it off, and replant it into a new container. Before you can replant the new piece, you have to make sure that it roots. The best way to do this is to put it in water first. Some tips are first to choose the right plant. Certain herbs, houseplants, and even flowers will work for this. You should also choose the right vase. Use a clear glass jar or vase so the roots can get some sun. You also have to be sure to use the right water. Bottled spring water or well water works best due to the high levels of minerals. And finally, you have to cut the plant in the right place. Be sure to cut at the leaf node where the rooting hormone lives. At this point, you might be wondering what a root hormone is. A root hormone is a hormone in the plant that allows the roots to grow. Just as humans have hormones, so do plants. The root hormone in a plant is found in the terminal bud. The node that's closest to the terminal bud is right here. So you should cut your plant at the node that includes the terminal bud. Once you've cut this part off, you can add it into the water to root. Once you look into your container of water and you can see some roots, the piece is ready to be planted into the soil. The final way that you can start caring for a plant is to buy it in a store. You can find some plants in stores that are already in a small potting dish. When you get this plant, you can start using your plant care journal that I will show you in the next section of this video. Once you notice that the plant is a bit too big for the pot, you should replant it into a bigger pot. Otherwise, the plant will become root bound. When a plant's roots are root bound, it means that they have become this large tangled mess and they can no longer grow. This is because they don't have the space to grow. Now that we have planted our plants, let's learn about how to best care for them. For this next section, take a look at the plant journal PDF that was included in your lesson. This is the cover of the journal. There's a space for you to add your name on the front. This page represents a whole month. So you would first write the plant species on the top. In this case, I will be growing basil. There's a spot here where you can either draw a picture or take a picture of your plant and add it in. This section right here helps you monitor the growth of your plant. So in each month, there's 3 or 4 weeks. So for each week, you will measure the height and the width of your plant. And this can be in inches or centimeters, whatever you are more comfortable with. This section is the watering schedule. There are 4 weeks to represent each week in a month. This line here helps you to keep track of which week this is. So maybe this is the week of March 2nd to March 8th. Now there's these boxes, and each of these represents a day of the week. So you want to water your plant maybe once or twice a week. So as you go through your week, you can add a check mark or color in the day that you watered your plant. This will help you to remember when you watered your plant and when you may need to water it again. So maybe your plant needs to be watered twice. So you would have watered it Sunday and maybe Thursday. The next week will be the same. So this week starts on March 9th and goes to March 15th. You would then fill in the squares just as you did before. The next section is turning your plant. As we'll talk about later, turning your plant helps it to grow more evenly. You should turn your plant at least twice a month. That's why there are 2 dates here. By putting in the dates that you turned your plant, you can make sure that you turned it twice that month. So maybe in this case, we turned it March 8th and March 21st. The next section is fertilizer jobs. Jobs are small sticks that have plant fertilizer, and it helps your plant to grow more quickly. You should provide your plant with jobs once every 1 or 2 months. Therefore, you may not always give a job each month. This section will help you to know whether or not you gave your plant a job. So maybe this month we did. That means that next month you may not have to. So by looking back in your journal, you can know whether or not you need to add a job this month. Small plants should only receive 1/2 of a job, while bigger plants may need a full job. And finally, down here we can add which month we're in. This will help you to keep your journal pages in order. So each month you may want to reprint out or add a duplicate page to this so that you can fill it in again for the next month. You will use the same page each month and make sure that you just write the month on the line here so you can keep track. Thank you so much for learning about plants with me today. I had a great time. I would love any pictures that you'd like to share with me of the plants that you are raising and growing. If you'd like to share, you can email me at mpo34@cornell.edu. See you next week.